So, I'm a British Gen Z girl who's going to review Tomb Raider 1 retrospectively. When I was growing up, I first heard about Tomb Raider from the Angelina Jolie films. Then, as I got a little older, I learned about the games. The Tomb Raider game that released the year I was born was Curse of the Sword for the Game Boy Color. I had a Game Boy Advanced growing up. I need to find out where my parents put it and see if it still works. Anyway, Tomb Raider 1996 is the first Tomb Raider game I've ever completed. The first one I ever played was Anniversary, but I didn't vibe with it and never touched a Tomb Raider game again until a few years later, namely this year, 2026. I'm excited to review this game for you lot because Lara's a fellow Brit, a fellow lady, and she's cooler than I'll ever be. She is video game royalty, and her first video game foray has good, bad, and wild aspects that I will get into. I'll talk about the gameplay, the story, the main characters, the graphics and art style, and of course the music and OST. If you like my vibe, please check out my channel. My current goal is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time so I can get monetized. Please like, hype, share, comment and subscribe. If you want to support my channel even further so that I can keep on creating content, please donate to my Ko-fi page or you can support me on Patreon. Links are in the description.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Much love and respect to all. Now let's go.
We're gonna be fine.
Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
I'm gonna talk about several aspects of the game's gameplay. In general, I love the dual wielding mechanic for most weapons. The game gives you a lot of ammo, arguably too much. Then consider that the dual pistols have unlimited ammo. Easy peasy, right? Well, the game is still a challenge as enemies are very aggressive and can damage you a lot. Plus, early on in a first playthrough, typically you will have the mindset of, let me save my stronger ammo for stronger enemies and bosses. But by the end of my first playthrough, I was dripping in ammo for all my guns, especially the Uzis and Magnums. Shooting while moving is amazing too. Lara doing front leaps, side flips and back flips while unloading ammo on enemies makes me feel so cool as the player. I wish I had her athleticism and gunmanship. The 3D platforming in this game is spectacular, especially when you enter a room for the first time and use the camera to see all the possible places to jump to and routes to follow. Also, you think about how many times you're going to miss that almost impossible jump and how many times you'll miss an impossibly easy jump. Lara's death cams are freaky, and the fact that you can move the camera around and watch enemies carry on like nothing has happened is very unsettling. I love that you are rewarded with gear if you make the difficult jump combinations, but I hate that the devs punish you just as easily if you try to take the wrong shortcut or make one false move. This game gives me anxiety and self-doubt, and it's arguably not even a horror game. Not by name at least. Lara's athleticism and traversal capabilities are out of this world. Her jump tricks are elite, and how she manages to make those almost impossible jumps are phenomenal. The dev team did phenomenal work programming her movement capabilities for the most part. The swimming controls are very good, and I prefer the swimming movement over the walking or running movement. I will say I find her running movement to be strange. It's like she's on a swivel, and when you move her just a little bit, she moves more than you might want her to. When she walks, it's sometimes a little too little or a little too much. Her grounded traversal is off. Let me know if you guys know what I mean in the comments. I love that puzzles involve figuring out how to navigate a room, key item hunting, combat, and being very aware of your surroundings. If you told me this was a traditional survival horror game, I would agree with you. I'm pretty sure this game came out the same year as Resident Evil 1. Imagine that, the birth of two iconic and historically impactful video game franchises.
You thought you ate that?
Okay, so let's move on to discussing the bosses. Tyrannosaurus Rex. This boss had such a jump scare opening. I was not expecting the T-Rex to just come around the corner like that. Although, to be fair to the developers, they did try to warn us with the velociraptors that animals can come in all shapes and sizes. I just circle the T-Rex like a dog chasing after its tail and unload the dual pistols until that red HP bar is empty. Larson. We face him twice and each time I'm just like, this is a boss fight? Cause it feels more like a showdown. Pierre Dupont. The Frenchman. Oui, non, il était très agaçant. I am thankful that in the boss arena, you can jump to a higher platform and just snipe Monsieur Dupont repeatedly until his HP runs out. I wish he and some of the other bosses had parting words before they pass on. It would just add a bit more to their bare-bone characters. Lara Atlantean Doppelganger. I think this enemy/boss was an amazing and creative addition to the video game. I like that rather than using your arsenal, you have to use the arena to deal with this seemingly impenetrable foe. Bald Black Man. Give me my shotgun back, fool. I don't know who this man is, but one thing I do know is that his shotgun skills ain't got nothing on Miss Croft, no matter how many shells he carries around his waist and on his person. White Skater Boy. Bruh, what the hell is this boss fight? This is the most unserious boss fight ever. I get the comical intentions, but the fight isn't difficult at all, and Skater Boy doesn't even have that much HP. Giant Atlantean. I don't like how this boss fight causes you damage just because it makes skin-to-skin contact with you. That instant death grab attack is jarring as well. The boss arena causing Lara to jump to death instead of to dodge is infuriating. The boss fight is more of a spectacle than interesting gameplay-wise. As the penultimate boss fight of the game, it is incredibly lackluster, easy, and annoying. Natla. Sorry, but not Jacqueline having 2 phases and her taking a quick nap in between them. I preferred the second phase because when I was playing it to record footage for this retrospective, all she and Lara were doing were running in a circle trying to DPS each other. Thankfully, I managed to get more ammo to hit her faster than she could hit Lara, and that was that. Now I'll talk about the levels of Tomb Raider. Lara's home. I like this tutorial level. We learn a bit more about Lara and her level of wealth. The tutorial gives you the foundation that you need in terms of 3D traversal training. However, they don't train you on how to deal with weapons and enemies, which I find puzzling as it's of equal importance to 3D traversal in this game. Caves. A great start to the campaign, not too intense, but the devs designed the level in such a way that lets you know from the jump your hand will not be held while playing this game. City of Vilca Bamba. The spike traps in that one room during this level are so annoying. Despite that, I really like the 3D platforming during this chapter. The swaying axe thingies are the bane of my life. They take so much of your damage even if they barely touch you as you pass them. And don't get me started on that lever trap after having to deal with the swaying axe thingies. The devs of this game really wanted players to suffer. Allegedly, of course. The Lost Valley. Tyrannosaurus Rex boss fight occurs here. That's the most important thing. Also, Lara's looking for 3 cogs, very important for progression. Tomb of Qualopec. The surprise boulder is, well, a surprise, much like all the boulders in the game. I scream every time I have to narrowly dodge them. My reaction times got better as I completed more levels, but they still got me a few times, if I'm remembering correctly. It's cool that you get an achievement for shooting one of the mummies in that main room of the Tomb of Qualopec. St. Francis's Folly. The developers did all players so dirty from the get-go with this level. What do you mean the level just started? Lara's body is blocking the field of view, and when I turn the camera a little bit, 2 lions are coming full speed ahead towards me? I really like traversing and exploring the next sub-area of St. Francis's Folly, finding and pulling the levers that open the Atlas, Damocles, I don't know how you say that, sorry, Neptune and 4, and then exploring what's behind each one is such great gameplay experience. Well, except for getting shocked by lightning, hammered by a hammer, and impaled by swords that are definitely not out to get you. The Colosseum. It's a cool level. That annoyingly placed spike trap is foul from the developers. Also, you get the magnums during this level, which is insanely awesome. Palace Midas. I had to turn Lara to gold for the video review, just one time. It's such a crazy mechanic to put in a video game, and it tests a player's common sense and knowledge of history and mythology. I don't mind the backtracking in this level, but I just wish Lara ran a bit faster in general. I'm pretty sure jumping is faster, and that's what speedrunners use to beat the game as quickly as humanly possible. The Cistern. This level has probably the best water traversal in the game.
What's going on over here?
Oh, Carl declined.
Embarrassing.
Carl declined.
I do get turned around in this level at times because it seems like there's a lot of places to go. Quite a few locked doors and swimmable areas. Monsieur Dupont makes an unceremonious return, but is swatted away like a bothersome fly. Temporarily, of course, but his time is coming. Tomb of Tihocan. Back-to-back boss fights is kinda crazy. Luckily, the Atlantean centaurs appear to be optional. Pierre uses dual magnums, which pack a punch, but Lara can attack him from a distance, so his fight is nothing but a piece of cake. Also, I need to mention those Iron Maiden doors. They disgust me. I'm telling you, this game is designed to delete Lara over and over again. I feel like you could name or rename Tomb Raider 1 Death Trap Dungeon and no one would be the wiser. City of Carmune. Having to climb the big colossus to get a key item was so cool, and I bet it was even cooler in the 90s due to how impressive this game was for the PS1. Where are my 90s gamers at? What was gaming like back then? Was there better value for money when it came to AAA releases? Let me know, please. I need to know your wisdom. Not calling any of you old, by the way. You can be young and wise or old and foolish and vice versa. Obelisk of Carmune. This might be in the top 3 levels in the game for me. I like the 3D platforming, pacing of progression, and the looping level design. I don't appreciate the appearances of Atlanteans here or anywhere in the game for that matter. They are so annoying and aggressive. I also like that the key items you needed for the previous chapter are finally acquired and used when you circle back to the main area from said previous chapter. Great level design in this level. Sanctuary of the Scion or Skion. There's a jump you have to make during this level where you need to orient the camera at a certain time and angle so Lara can make it to the platform instead of the water. It's very tricky and there are multiple approaches to getting the jump and camera right. Carcinogen SDA went for a backwards approach, I think. So he made Lara fall down the slope backwards, then made her grab the edge at the end of the slope and shimmy over and fall to the start of the platform. I think his method is more consistent in all fairness. Also, let me not forget to mention the secret platform with the Uzis. How iconic and yet how strange to have an invisible platform. I guess the developers wanted to reward players for taking a risk and a leap of faith. Natla's Mines. Not having any of your weapons is so survival horror coded. On top of that, running into Cowboy who has your dual magnums and not being able to fight him is mad stressful. And on top of that, I had to make a crazy jump from afar, which took me forever to realize that I just needed to make the jump, slide down and catch the edge of the slope, and then just shimmy over to safety. When I was playing and recording footage for Natla's Mines, I forgot that the boat can be used to get to that just out of reach area with all the boxes at the beginning of the level. Instead, I did some specific jump and camera maneuvering to get across to the obscure area hidden by those boxes. Then I remembered watching joshstrifehayes' retrospective of Tomb Raider 1 and he used the boat. I felt so dumb and forgetful, but it's alright cause I still progressed through the game. Remember guys, don't be so hard on yourselves and never be afraid to ask for help. And this is coming from someone who hates asking for help, by the way. Atlantis. This fleshy, pulsating area of Atlantis is so gross to me. I feel so claustrophobic playing this level just because of the graphics and art style here. The enemy placements and puzzle solving don't make it any better. The Great Pyramid. Natla's boss fight occurs here, but the highlight for me is doing that final stretch of 3D platforming and sliding down the slope to freedom. It's story time! So I'm not going to go over the story in autistic detail, which is what I really should do given that I am on the spectrum.
We do not care.
Instead, I'll recite what I remember the story being about, then I'll give you my opinions on the story. If you want an in-depth reciting and analysis of the story, there are many on YouTube, my dears. Right, let's talk about the story of Tomb Raider 1.
You thought you ate that?
An explosion happens in New Mexico and unearths what appears to be Natla's prison contraption. Sometime later in the present day, in the 90s, Lara Croft is approached by Larson and his boss, Natla, to raid a tomb in Peru in search of the Scion. Essentially, Lara finds the piece of the Scion but is betrayed by Larson. She is also pursued by Pierre Dupont, who is also looking for parts of the Scion, and she is betrayed by Natla herself. Lara must go to areas around the world including Peru, Greece and Egypt to collect parts of the Scion and ultimately destroy Natla before she succeeds in causing world chaos after being frozen in time by her peers Qualopec and Tihocan a very long time ago. Hopefully I pronounced Sion or Skion or however you say it right. Let me know in the comments please. Also, how good or bad was my summarized recital of Tomb Raider 1996's story? Here are my opinions on the story. I feel like the story is quite bare bones, like it was an afterthought. The devs were heavily focused on the gameplay it seems. Characters aren't well written, but with what little the writing gives us, we still appreciate Lara and some of the antagonists like the Skater Boy and Larson for example. I like Tomb Raider's focus on history and mythology. It's good for people to have an interest in history and mythology because if you forget your history, you are doomed to repeat it, as the old adage goes.
Yeah, that's all you can say. Can you come up with something else? Can you come up with something else?
Now let's talk about the main characters of Tomb Raider 1996. Lara Croft.
This is a potential mother.
Mother of video games. From the outfit to the personality to the athleticism, Miss Lara Croft is just amazing. She's very locked in on her mission and she doesn't take kindly to nonsense. There is not a lot of depth to her because the writing in this game does not have a lot of depth, but the foundations of her character are enough to infer things about her character, her personality, and expanding on those aspects in future games.
I won't let you down.
Jacqueline Natla. She is serving Board D in her human form. I like how her and Lara are both wearing blue tops. Lara's one is seemingly for practical reasons, whereas Natla's is probably for superficial reasons. It's cool that the developers used fashion to distinguish the protagonist from the antagonist. A protagonist being practical is typical, and a villain being superficial is the norm as well. Pierre Dupont. I wish he was better written in this game, especially with how many times he jump scared me on my initial playthrough of the game. He pops up so many times only to have a few lines here and there. I like his fashion and colour choice, very rugged and manly in my opinion. It's a shame he doesn't keep that rugged and manly energy towards Lara, given that he runs away every time her ammo does enough damage to him. Larson. I like his accent, but the voice acting makes me cringe. I think it's the writing and lack of good voice direction rather than the voice actor per se. Larson's giving cowboy vibes all day, just missing a hat.
And my man, thank you to my man.
Qualopec and Tihocan. Very alien looking beings, they creep me out. I like what they did to Natla though, just because of how annoying and disloyal she is to Lara.
I ain't gonna lie, me too. When I went on her page and seen her pictures, I said, oh, jump scare.
I have mixed feelings when it comes to the graphics and art style of Tomb Raider 1. Firstly, the art style for every area in the game is good and aesthetically pleasing for a PS1 era game. The graphics are arguably dated, but I'm a firm believer in art style over graphics, and to add to that, gameplay over everything, as gameplay is paramount.
And that's on a period. And that's on a period.
Secondly, sometimes it's hard to tell where to go because of how similar parts of each area look. I had to use a guide on YouTube a few times to figure out where to go for a few areas. For example, during the obelisk of Carmoon level, there's a room that requires you to jump from one spot to another, but the spot you are jumping to is barely visible and extremely easy to miss, whether in finding that spot or jumping to it. I appreciate that the game's graphics and art style don't hold your hand, but at the same time, the developers could have implemented subtle pointers to push a player in the right direction. Obviously not yellow paint everywhere. I think this would be a great point of discussion in the comments and on X/Twitter, to be honest.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Music and OST. Now I'm going to take some time to review the main tracks of the OST. Main theme. Amazing theme. I love the classical instrumentation. The music is ethereal, elegant, timeless, and light, yet intense. It embodies the soul of Miss Lara Croft to a T. This track is what would be played if Lara was a wrestler and fans would hear it as she walked to the ring. I think it could be as iconic as Ric Flair's ring entrance theme. St. Francis's Folly. This track is erratic, much like the St. Francis's Folly level of the game. I think it was composed in such a way to let players know to lock in, because the game is going to get tougher and keep you on your toes more. Tomb of Tihocan. I love the choir. I love the simplicity of the track. The song gives me a creepy vibe, which is perfect given that Lara is exploring a tomb seemingly alone. Showdown. Yeah, this song is heat. Love hearing it when having to take down enemies before they take me down. Again, there's not a ton of things going on musically, but what you get suffices and just pushes a player further into playing Tomb Raider 1 and taking on the challenging enemies. The Lost Valley. Oh, this is a piece of music that is so beautiful. It makes me feel sad, yet hopeful, yet worried. The choir sings in such a way that makes me feel like they are the lost cries of an ancient civilization lost to time. A hauntingly beautiful track. Tomb of Qualopec. Short and sweet, more of the same I guess. It's like a mini interlude of angelic voices. Sanctuary of the Scion. An ambient track, well, ominously ambient, perfectly captures the vibe of a towering presence or an omniscient presence, which one could or should cower in fear or respect of. Authentic Tomb Raider. A little rehash of the main theme. I can't be mad at it. Still beautiful. The addition of certain instruments, choir differences, and somewhat different composition is refreshing. This track, along with the main theme, always puts a smile on my face, especially when I play Tomb Raider 1996. Epilogue. This song is heat too. It's giving closure vibes. It's giving the sun is setting on a tale of epic proportions. The start gives mystery and uncertainty, but that is superseded by the bright and certain instrumentation, which lets the players know that the journey is over for this entry in the Tomb Raider series. Danger. This track is dangerous, one could say. It invokes the notion that Lara is now in a dangerous place. There are potential enemies in the vicinity. Stay ready with the dual pistols player. Revealed. It's a pleasure to hear this sound whenever something is revealed in-game. Secret. Sounds similar to revealed, but with different instrumentation. Similarly to revealed, it's always a pleasure to hear when you find a secret or secrets during gameplay. Tomb Beauty. I think this is a standout track. When solving puzzles or traversing up and over obstacles, I love hearing this track play. It makes my gameplay feel cinematic. I just wish it was longer. It always cuts off just as I'm really getting into it. Puzzling. This track puzzles me. It reminds me of the mess that is my ADHD and autism brain. Not bad, not great, but works perfectly as a track meaning to represent confusion and being puzzled. The plot thickens. This track is cute. It's warm, and I like that more and more layers of music are added as time goes on. Just like how, as time goes on in the game, the plot thickens. I think a lot of the tracks on the OST use music and instrumentation to musically represent their titles, especially this one. The Chase. I love this track. I might get tired of hearing it sometimes, but I still find it to be one of my faves. It's kind of funky and quirky and is another standout track on the OST. Anticipation. A cute little ambient moment, a nice track to hear during the game whenever it plays. Miss Jacqueline Natler. It's funky, freaky, quirky, and bombastic. Let's leave it at that. Shock. A very cinematic moment on the OST. Not mad at it. Short but sweet. Rulers of Atlantis.
Here lies Tehokan, one of the two just rulers of Atlantis.
A nice track to hear in the background as Lara reads off some important story information for the player. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to hear a British girl talk about Tomb Raider 1996. This is a very important game in video game history, so it was an honour to talk about its draws, pitfalls, and everything in between. I've started playing Tomb Raider 2, but I have a lot of other games to get through, and I have somewhat of a personal life, so not sure when the TR2 review will be uploaded, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Let me know what you guys thought of my review and Tomb Raider 1996 in the comments or on X/Twitter. I love positive and negative feedback so that I can grow and give you guys the best quality reviews and content that I can. If you like this video, please check out my channel. My current goal is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours. Again, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my Tomb Raider 1996 review. If you want to support my channel even further so that I can keep creating content, please donate to my Ko-fi page or you can support me on Patreon. Links are in the description.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Please like, hype, comment, share and subscribe. God bless you and goodbye.